You ever get a zit and you're like, why would I have a zit? Like, what did I do? And then it's like, oh, you ate a box of Swedish fish last night, had 2 donuts for dinner and a coffee with cold foam, and then went and drove 3 hours and did a bunch of stand-up. Ask me. Ask Iliza anything. It's time to ask. Ask me all your questions.
What kind of donuts?
I'm embarrassed to admit. I don't want you to know. Because I've said in the past that I don't like their donuts.
Oh, Dunkin' table bread. Now, did you get one with something in it, or you were just like, I just want powdered plain?
I got asked to do this gig called Sea Legs, which is like an on-the-beach series of stand-up that like a bunch of headliners do. And it's in Huntington Beach, which for those of you that don't live here is Orange County.
Yeah, why do you truck over there?
Because they paid me a lot of money.
Okay,
and
fair.
I got to keep all of it. And it's this cool thing where it's like this little beach snack shack, but people pull up and they put out a blanket. Some people like bring grills. Like it's you. The idea is you order food from there, but you're kind of like camping out on the beach. People are standing. It's a very cool vibe. It took 2.5 hours to get there on Friday traffic. And I know I'm old now because my knee cramped up from having to have it slightly put pressure on the gas the whole way. I hadn't eaten in an hour and 45. I'm just like, I need something. Like I need something because I was supposed to do like an hour of stand up. And so went to Dunkin' and I was like, I wanted to eat sugar. And so I just ate the icing off the top of 2 donuts. My husband's
Chocolate or vanilla or different?
What do you think? You think I got a chocolate donut?
I'm talking about the icing on the top.
You think I got chocolate icing? Disgusting.
You got 2 vanilla icing donuts and only licked off. Okay, then
strawberry.
Tell me.
Didn't I tell you? Strawberry. I got strawberry with sprinkles, like a Homer Simpson donut.
Okay, that's fun.
I'm just sitting here. I'm like, and I ate. When I write, I have to eat, and we are going to shoot a movie this summer, and I'm doing the rewrites of certain scenes, and it takes a lot of brain energy, and I always crave Swedish fish, even though they kind of make my stomach hurt. And I had my assistant get me a box, which is so annoying. I'm like, can you run out and get me a box? Like some pregnant woman, like, can you get me a box of Swedish fish? And then I, in the middle of that, had to get some clothes altered for some events that we're doing. So she's like pinning this skin tight dress as I'm like horking down Swedish fish. And then the saddest thing was I went to the box and they were all gone. And I was like, oh no, I ate the whole box.
Are you just talking about those little like movie theater candy boxes?
Yeah, in the box, yeah.
Where there's not even plastic, they're just kind of rattling around in there?
There's plastic with Swedish fish for some stupid reason because they have like the little window. Like, see, there's proof there's fish in here. Anyway.
If you don't want to open it up and it's a different shaped gummy, that would be an injustice.
Better not be.
Better not.
I love Swedish fish. I love the way they feel in my mouth.
What a dull candy. I prefer a worm. If I'm going to eat a gummy, I want it to be a worm shape.
I like a trolley gummy, not as much like the Swedish fish. They're just sweet enough. They're not sour.
I'm talking plain worm.
You probably like a goober.
Oh, a peanut covered chocolate?
They always seem so gross to me.
I do like a goober. I've developed a taste for goobers in the last few years. My current thing is almonds covered in chocolate.
That's an adult snack. Dark chocolate or regular chocolate? That's the question.
Here's the problem. I got it from Costco, and they only have regular. And
you're talking about that tub. You're talking like the office tub.
Yes.
Yeah,
I wish
food.
it was dark chocolate. I might have to find some dark chocolate ones somewhere.
Where you know what? Trader Joe's. That's who makes that kind of stuff.
Yeah, a dark chocolate covered.
I also yesterday, I can't say which one it was, but I played a game show. And, you do your hair and makeup. So my makeup looked incredible and my hair looked incredible. But then I went to Huntington Beach where it's like, marine layer and like a little rainy on the beach. And so my hair looks fine, but like it kind of like ruined how great it looked. And I realized, and I do want to talk about this.
Please.
Our barometer for what's attractive, and when you think of characters in movies who always look attractive, they always look attractive because they have straight hair. The key to being attractive in a disaster is having straight hair that lays straight. I have curly hair. You never see a movie star and it's raining and there's a hurricane and she's got like little curly horns broken coming out the side. No one's got postpartum hair breakage. When you're wet, you're coming out of the bath, the hair just lays straight. Nobody is seeing a heroine with like a pushed back, half curly, frizzy mullet and just like little wispies sticking out the side.
Okay, yes, wet. Wet hair, yes. Dry hair, I want you to look like you're in a pageant in Texas.
That's still straight. That's still straight hair that you've made. You've done that to it. Yeah, like even we were watching Moana and I'm like, so much of what makes her so fierce is that even though she has curly hair, it's heavy enough that it always lays. What nobody ever sees is me with a middle part and like little curly broken hairs all around. Like that's never the look. And that is the barrier, is having straight hair that lays straight. Think about all scary movies. It's always some girl running out, she's covered in blood, but the hair lays straight. It's never frizzed up and like puffy. The closest you'll get is like Rachel Sennett in like Shiva Baby, like that. It's not necessarily Jewish. Like you could be any ethnicity with curly hair, but like that look where it's like, no, that's not like the Anglican sexy that we all like.
I can only think of Courtney Cox in Friends when they go to Barbados or wherever.
Which is ridiculous. Yeah, they made it. But even that, at least the hair wasn't broken. Like all growing up,
it was
I remember,
healthy.
I have a picture of me in middle school. And we took our volleyball pictures, right? And like, I'm not like a hot kid. And all I wanted was to be able to, that's not true. That's not true. There were hot girls in my class and all I wanted to do.
Not in middle school.
I'm trying to tell a story.
Okay.
Yes, there were. Yes, there were.
Middle schoolers look like trolls.
You sound so dumb right now because every girl in here can think of a girl that was so beautiful in middle school.
In high school. In middle school?
Yeah.
Well, I went to a Montessori school. I'm not saying sexy. I'm just, please
can I finish this
story. Please.
I'm trying to create,
quietly.
First of all, people are reeling through their childhood memories and you're like, no way. I don't know what a Montessori school has to do with it.
I'm saying they were all ugly middle schoolers.
Probably.
So continue.
You're talking about a big Texas public school where like there are girls who like already have model bone structure and even though they have full braces, like they look beautiful. Or like girls that just have like weight. Like there was just like it all hinged on having naturally straight hair. And I had curly hair, which was beautiful. It's not out of control. It's just whatever. But my hair doesn't lay like when I put it up, it doesn't like do those like straight waves where it like kind of your ponytail's so silky it falls down. I would always have a broken crown of curly hair. And I remember wanting to wear my hair half up, half down for this picture to look like everyone else. And so I did. And it's just like little like baby curly horns all over my head. That is the part that Hollywood lies about, as if no girl has that when most girls probably do.
So do I have straight hair?
Yeah, you do. You've got great hair and it's wasted on you.
Straight?
It's not about straight. It could be wavy, but the point is it hangs and it's not broken and it just kind of falls in front of your face. I've never had hair fall in front of my face because my whole front section of my head is like broken hair. So no hair makes it in front. It's like a barrier reef. And that little girl is how ugly I feel today with this giant zit from eating all that junk food. It's like the other side is like, or you did stand up for like 800 people on a beach and got paid so much money. You should be so proud. I'm like, nope. I feel like unaccomplished, ugly girl garbage this morning.
Did your writing go well?
Still doing it. It's a back and forth.
The fish fuel you appropriately?
Because by the time I got it, it was time to get this outfit tailored, which I know sounds like champagne problems, but like I literally cannot find an hour that is not scheduled in the day. So,
I know. We were trying to record this podcast. You were like, I'm busy all day Friday doing something secret. Now I find out it's a secret game show.
I'll tell you about it offline. You'll see it this fall. It's like whatever.
This fall.
It's coming this fall on a network I didn't find out. Look, they offer you a lot of money and you get to play for your charity. So sorry, C Legacy, who I was going to surprise with all the money I won until I lost. Guess we'll be helping those
that.
whales a different way. What? They're not listening to this. I tried.
I don't think you're allowed.
What's going to happen? The game show police is going to come take me away.
Police are going to come get you.
To a green room with meat roses and free water.
Those green rooms are so nice.
This one was, and I will tell you, I'm not going to say the show. normally when you're on set, which is not going to be relatable to everyone here, but normally you're on set, whatever show you're going to, you get led to a trailer and you do your hair and makeup, and then it's early. I got there at like 6:15 a.m. and they're like, do you want breakfast? And there's always like a catering truck there for the crew, for people that are working on that. And you just go up any movie. Usually there's like a, TV show. There's a catering truck. A PA will take your order, or you can walk up to it. They'll get your coffee, your oatmeal, whatever. They're like, anything you want, just order it from Erewhon. And I was like, really? This is how you're spending your money? And like, there were 6 contestants. Everything. And they also didn't tell me it didn't open until 7. So at like 6:15, I was like, I guess I'll just wait. But it just seemed like, I was like, I guess that's cool. However, I could not bring myself to order a Hailey Bieber smoothie.
Not even on someone else's dime, which is exactly when you should.
Because I was like, what am I drinking? Just like a bunch of strawberry sauce and protein. Like, I don't actually need this. You're not going to look hotter when you drink it. I didn't care. So I ordered coffee and like a burrito. It had the most eggs ever. But I'm like, this is like 6 contestants per episode, like 2 shows per day, endlessly ordering. And at one point I realized I didn't have antiperspirant. And I asked, like thinking they would have like Union hair and makeup that was there. And they're like, we'll run to Erewhon. I'm like, and get me like an iodized crystal.
Yeah.
That's what I said, deodorant. Like, so bizarre. And then the saddest part was ahead of time, they're like, order your lunch for when you get off set. We'll give you lunch and whatever you want.
God.
So I ordered my Erewhon lunch and I got like a matcha smoothie and I scheduled it. I was like, this will be such a nice pick-me-up before I have to drive so far. And then I lost the show and they cut me early and they were like, do you want to wait for your lunch? And I was like, no, I'll go home and I'll eat just peanut butter.
And then you had to lick the icing off some donuts.
I did not. I could have just waited and had that Erewhon lunch. They're just ordering willy-nilly Erewhon all day.
The budget of that, I feel like it's so expensive.
I was just like, I've never seen money spent like that. But good for them and good for me for getting an Erewhon coffee.
When are they going to start inviting me on these to compete against you?
When this podcast is huge and people see your face more, then they'll be like, why don't you come on Hollywood Roblox?
Hollywood Roblox. Oh, I'd be so good.
I've been looking at our Patreon and I'm very, what's the word for looking at the rate of non-dropout? We have no dropouts.
Well, a couple of people have canceled.
What's the opposite of attrition? Really?
Yeah, but that's okay.
Well, that's a bummer.
Because we have money more. Well, what do you look? I mean, I don't.
We promised what we promised and we delivered it. So if you do cancel, I would like to know why, because we want to make sure we're delivering on our promise. Yet most people didn't cancel. So obviously it's you, not us.
Yeah, I think probably some people signed up. Again, I will remind everyone, do not sign up through your iPhone. Apple Apps takes a cut. Go on over to your browser on your computer, log in. I know it's annoying, but it will save you $250 a month that just goes straight to Apple and not to Iliza.
Do that. But I enjoy looking at everybody's coffees in Cozy Coffee Corner. I don't always post my food. Sometimes my coffee isn't that great. I'll be like, here's the cup. I drank it. But I like it. I like what we have. I like our community. And I love our questions. I see them come in. I don't answer them. I don't even read them because I save them for Emily.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I also want to share, someone did say that Michelle's pod episode, Michelle, your friend Michelle, who you said probably had never been on the podcast, her episode that does exist, this nice young man shares, is one of the ones he frequently goes back to when he needs a laugh. So
she's coming to visit me.
Episode is a favorite.
Okay, just by him. But she is coming to visit me, so maybe I'll include her again. If anybody has any economics questions or any question about spending tax money, local tax money, Michelle will have those answers.
But is she allowed to share those answers?
Yeah, particularly in the state of Texas. She is.
Okay.
She was working in the nonprofit sector for a very long time.
She's very smart.
Too smart. And yet, very dumb.
All right, let's do questions.
Okay.
My friend and I are starting a book club, and we are thinking of doing themed snacks/meals with each book. The first book is Remarkably Bright Creatures, about a woman who works at an aquarium and an octopus. So there are obviously any sea-themed food, drink, snack bar ideas that aren't seafood. But then here's what our question asker says that cracks me up, okay? Could do seafood, but don't want it to be crazy expensive. Also, do you have any book recommendations and accompanying food themes? Thank you. Love the pod. Another organized Emily with a master's degree that I got in Denmark. I love when Iliza talks about Scandinavia. I lived there for 5 years. It's truly the best. Okay, you shouldn't want to eat seafood during your book club, not because it's expensive, but because you're reading about an aquarium, a woman who works at an aquarium and her octopus friend. You can't be eating who you're reading about.
The only reason I don't eat octopus.
No, they're too smart. And squid.
That's exactly what. And then Noah's like, if they were so smart, they wouldn't have gotten captured. And I was like, that is a horrible argument for anyone who's ever been captured. If you were to make an argument for eating octopi, I would say it's because they only live a year. So it's not like you're preventing it from having a long life. She does get that, though. In that answer, I do believe that she understood that was weird. It's a very big question you're asking. Like, you're like, what are some books you've read recently and accompanying food?
Well, first, answer the question of what are some sea-themed food, drink, snack board ideas?
Oh, okay.
For
well,
her
doesn't have
first
to be
book club.
Seafood. I love eating seaweed, like little seaweed snacks, like seaweed crackers. You could get a little Japanese mix of seaweed, like go to your your local Japanese grocery store and get like a little seaweed cracker trio. They do a bunch of those. You could just eat seaweed. Dried seaweed. You could also do vegetarian sushi. Like you could do cucumber rolls. So these are all seaweed. You could also eat something sustainable, like a different type of fish. I think we've talked on this pod about how like everybody eats salmon, Emily, and like tilapia. But if you went to your local fishmonger and you were like, what's local and sustainable? That's good. And if you do eat seafood, please try to eat American caught. We are the most sustainable, even though it's like fun to hate America. You could do sea-themed candy. Gummy worms. People use worms to go fishing.
Well, here's Iliza. That transitions into, there's a seasonal cocktail at Chili's. I don't remember the name.
Why would I know that?
But it's some kind of summer theme, and they put one of those gummy sharks in the cup as a garnish. So get those gummy sharks, put that in an alcoholic drink. Like you can have little sea touches.
Oh, goldfish crackers.
Yeah, or there's like a Annie's equivalent. No, not the bunnies. There's like one called like cheddar whales or something at Target that's really good.
Gummy snacks. I love that. Other things, you could do a boat of tacos. You know how they're always served in a boat? You could serve sea breezes. You could serve White Claw, which is like named after the shape of an ocean spray cranberry.
I feel like there's a lot you can do here, and I think what'll make the biggest difference is when you plate it, like have a little paper sign with like a fun themed name for it. Like even if it's just like goldfish crackers, like call it something else, like from the book. Do you know what I mean?
Or you could do like a cheese dip and shape it like an octopus with its tentacles going out around the plate and crackers all around it.
You can cut hot dogs so they look like octopus.
You could. Then you'll have no friends. Now I have to think of a book. Oh, you know what? I started reading a book. Oh, what's it called? I started a long time ago. It's still on my nightstand. But it's about the history of wasps and like the disappearing class of wasps in America.
Oh, I thought you meant the bugs.
No, and how they were like the ruling class. So you could have like martinis and like not talk to your relatives and like expensive steak and like other things that would be served.
Yeah.
Like a country club.
Mine is also alcohol in that I'm reading the Practical Magic book. And
that's
do
good.
Margaritas, midnight margaritas.
It's called Flight of the Wasp.
Flight of the Wasp. See, I wish it was about the bug, but okay.
I was also reading a book called Goodbye Eastern Europe. So you could have anything. You could have pierogies. You could have cabbage. I'm also reading A Light in the Dark by Carl Sagan. So you could eat s'mores because there's a match on the cover of the book.
Set something on fire.
There you go. I think we spent enough on this. You gotta go ask
I really
Martha.
think it's less down to, I think if you have 5 items that are even semi-related with fun names and it looks cute, you're set.
You know what they say, presentation is 9/10 of the law.
Something like that.
That's exactly what they say. It's always about partying. It's never been about gun and property ownership.
All right. Hello, gang. If you remember back in 2019, I asked if you ladies would prefer witchcraft or superpowers. Now for my next query, I want to preface by saying that I, for one, have always thought you two have given sound advice and guidance and spot on insight between the lines of your letters. So please don't misunderstand my question. Always a good way to kick off. But Iliza, all these years answering fans' questions on the pod, have any writers ever clapped back or pushed back against your answers? Some and like writer-inners, not authors. Like, did a writer take your advice, it didn't work out, and they come blaming you? Did they not like how you interpreted the situation or how you chastised them for their own bad behavior? The closest I think you ever mentioned was a couple years back, a gay man follower, not me, I swear, LOL, left you a scathing comment about how your advice is too heteronormative, female focused, and doesn't apply enough to LGBTQ plus people, which was such utter BS for them to say to you. Screw him, LOL. Thank you in advance if you just answer this here or on the pod, because this is, of course, from our Patreon. That's it here. Now, I will preface, Iliza, just because I'm deeper in the forums. Complaints about the advice never comes from the advice asker. It always comes from a third party that says you shouldn't tell the first person that. And the first person always says, thank you, I love it. Not to say that there aren't people. Hearing your own question read back is like difficult emotionally. And I think it's easy to bristle at being discussed without being there to defend yourself. So I don't think anyone is wrong for not agreeing with our advice. But I do think it's funny that the only time I ever see complaints, it's never the question asker.
It's always a keyboard warrior, but also like this is a one-way street.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we want you to write us back, let us know. But like, this is what social media has done in terms of rotting perception of people world over. This is a one-way street. You come here to hear my take. You listen to my stand-up to hear my point of view. And this is why I'm not pumped into your home 24/7, because you have free will and you don't have to listen to me when you don't want to. So the idea that you would ask my advice and be like, and here's why you're wrong, then don't take it.
Right.
I'm not forcing you to do, this is supposed to be entertainment. The idea that you would hold anyone accountable for a comedy podcast where I actually go out of my way to make sure that like I'm doing the best that I can. Or Emily's just never read it, but it's not feedback that's welcome unless there's like context or you say something and I'm like, okay, that's a good point. But like, I'm not here for that feedback on the micro problem.
Yeah, not to say, there's definitely been like negative responses, and I think we've often read those to kind of address them. But I do think it's very funny that he pointed out a big thing, which is this
we're
person
not afraid
saying
of your negative. Like, we're not going to not read it, but like we don't have time to like go back and forth.
Somebody's saying you and our replies are too female and heteronormative
we don't
focused.
have to go back.
Like
that's stupid. That's so stupid.
Like
that's
the perfect
also
example, though.
Holding someone accountable for you're criticizing someone for the way they are naturally, and that would be bananas if I gave you advice from the perspective of a person that I'm not, which is a a homosexual person. Then it would be appropriation. If I spoke for someone that I'm not, like, you can't win. So all that person was doing was just like firing off because they could, because they know that because I'm white and straight, therefore it's easy to criticize. So now I'm like getting angry at this person who probably doesn't even listen to the podcast anymore.
No, I just think it's very funny to be like, they're coming to the show for your heteronormative white lady advice. That's
not even that heteronormative. This is people
I'm
like
sorry,
you're
okay.
No, but I'm saying to suggest that, because what I comment on are like deep human feelings.
Yeah.
That suggests that if you are gay, you are other than, and you don't feel jealousy, anger, frustration, excluded. The idea that you don't feel those normal feelings, whether it's a guy or a girl, I just can't put myself in your shoes and assume and be like, and when it's girl on girl, like, I don't know. But somebody said that once about my stand-up. They're like, it's for straight people. And it's like, I am a straight person. I try to include everyone, but you'd be so weirded out if I was like giving you in-depth detail about like two guys fucking. Like, I don't know. What do you want from me? Why do we want our celebrities to be everything to everyone all at once? And you only are in trouble when you can't do it.
Yeah, how dare you? Now let's answer a question from a gay man. Hi, Iliza and AIA crew. I am a 30-year-old guy moving in with my partner, 29 male, at the end of the month.
I don't understand. How are two men in the same place?
In the same place at the same time. We've been together a little over 2 years, but long distance for most of it while I was in business school in Boston.
Of course.
I graduate next week, and we're finally starting our next chapter together in our dream West Village apartment.
Ooh, I'm jealous.
I know. It is my first time living with a partner. He's done it before. And while we're both clean and well house trained, I'm more of a sentimental pack rat and he's a minimalist. Any advice on how to successfully merge two homes, declutter without drama, and compromise on the small stuff? Are there chores or tasks you recommend outsourcing to avoid dumb fights during the stress of moving? I've been binge listening Ask Liza Anything for the past 6 months and I'm almost caught up. Thankfully, I've got the $5 a month Patreon.
Well, I can't, it's hard to answer because you haven't lived together yet.
So what's some advice?
You're asking about moving together. Well, you're asking how do you alleviate the stresses of moving in? Like, what can you outsource?
Number one, what can you outsource? Number two, like when you're merging two homes and one of you's a pack rat and one is a minimalist, like compromising.
But that's what I'm saying. I gave my answer and you were like, no, can't be. You have to live together to see. Because it could be like an odd couple thing. It could be like a yin and a yang. But given that you are the pack rat, and it's interesting, women's brains can't function with clutter unless you have like a mental illness. Women are more sensitive to that. Women need cleaner spaces. Women need decluttering, and it doesn't bother men. So I know that you're two guys, but maybe he has like a touch of that where like he just needs that to focus. Everybody should have their own area. You want to have a desk that's cluttered and it's in the other room? Great. I also suggest that you get some Rubbermaid containers. And I know you're not going to have a lot of storage in the West Village, but maybe you have a locker or you could put some stuff in storage. Because right now at 30, you're still very attached to all of the things from high school or college or your 20s. And one day they won't mean as much, but you're going to have to be mindful of his space because he might need this to be in top form. But I think it's always a conversation. And it doesn't always, you can have your little spaces and he might have to be okay with the fact that like your sink is a mess if you have your own sink. You're going to have to be mindful of sharing with him. And that's just, and you're not going to change that about you or him. You might need to get neater and he might need to loosen up, but it sounds like he's just a minimalist, which my husband is, and I've taken over the whole closet. And as far as outsourcing, your place will already be clean, I'm assuming, because the person who left may have had it cleaned, but I would pay to get it actually cleaned.
Yeah.
Not dustpan clean, but like a cleaner. I would also order in food the first night versus like cooking something.
Yeah. Pay for movers. Don't do it yourself. Don't ask your friends. Pay for movers.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, there's not a ton to outsource unless you're, I don't know what else there is. Like, you just got to get in and unpack.
Yeah, you pay for the packing is like real all in, but I don't know about that. I feel like you can pack it, have someone else move it.
It depends. I don't know what kind of money you have. I don't know what kind of time you have. Maybe you could hire someone to project manage it and be there to receive everything. If you want to like take the day to do something and that's it, but just take it one step at a time. Moving is up there with one of the most stressful things you can undergo in life. And that is up there with like marriage and a death in the family. So just be mindful of the fact that it is awful even when it's great.
Yeah, but I like that you're getting your own new place together so that it's not somebody's territory.
So exciting. Take a walk at the end of the night too.
In your nice West Village spot.
Can you go in early? Like, I don't know how they're moving those things. Like, can you bring some stuff over early so you have a couple things set up and also bring over clean sheets? Like, be ready to sleep in your bed with fresh sheets that night. That will make you feel so much better.
Yeah.
Than like, oh, it's not clean. Like, bring over everything clean.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's just advice for straight people because I don't think gay people, I don't know if you use clean jeans.
All right, let's do some confessions because this one cracked me up. And it technically is bodily fluids, but it's less about that.
Oh, great.
It's less about that. I just finished the episode Living Better with Iliza, and you joked about someone saying they've shit in a cup, and I haven't, but I did have a friend shit in a Pringles cup, but that's not my confession. 'Tis below.
We're calling it a cup, not a can? Okay.
That's just separate. I know. Excuse you. You shit in a Pringles can. I studied abroad in Germany, and for a friend's birthday, we went to a restaurant, shout out to Sausalito's, that had a 2-for-1 jumbo cocktail special on a Tuesday night. One guy in our group locked himself in a bathroom stall for 2 hours and threw up all inside of it. One girl threw up all over the table. The staff told us we can either pay €100 or clean it up, so a few people cleaned it up. As we were putting on our coats to leave, I projectile vomited all over the table, and they had to clean it up again. Flash forward 3 months, and we go back on a Tuesday for the 2-for-1 special.
Why would you go back there?
The waitress said, "Oh, we don't do that anymore. It didn't work out." Then proceeded to tell us about the night where people threw up too much with the 3 culprits unknowingly in front of her. We blamed it on students for another university that were also studying abroad in the town.
That's
Cheers.
Why you were students. That's hilarious. And I think I would blame the restaurant. Like something was wrong with those drinks.
Just the fact, I cannot imagine going somewhere, me and all my friends projectile vomit, and 3 months later we're like, you want to hit that 2-for-1
I
again?
could. In college, I could. You're like, well, it's cheap. Let's do it again. I mean, that must have just been like a scorpion bowl.
Right.
Like,
just
just
like
grain
big old
alcohol.
cocktails. Like, okay.
Because we had this, what was it called? Like Tiger Lily. There was some Asian restaurant in Boston we would go and you could get a scorpion bowl. It was just all like low grade vodka. And I'm sure I threw up or got sick, not at the table, but like, and I would go back. Because when you're young, you're like, oh, fruity alcohol, that's cheap, I'm in.
Yeah.
You don't think about causality.
Chili's always has a $5 margarita of the month, and that's dangerous stuff. I have 2. I wander over to an AMC.
I got to tell you something. I thought it was like a bit when you brought up Chili's, like the first 6 times. I don't know. You can't do this anymore.
They have $5 margaritas.
Okay.
How come these people can go to Sausalito's and throw up their brains out, and I can't go to Chili's?
They're 20. And you're a grown woman with free will, and you are picking... Like, your taste buds should have outgrown this by now. And, like, I thought it was a joke. And I think that's the part that worries me. Is you go there often.
I haven't been in a long time. George and I used to go there before we'd see a movie.
Also, seeing a movie drunk sounds awful.
I'm not drunk. I usually only have 1. If I have 2, it's a problem.
I don't know if we can work together anymore. Like, I don't know if I can do this podcast anymore.
We're
We're too different.
luck.
We're too different.
That's the odd couple, like those people moving in together.
It's you and me.
Who were the 2? It was like 2 dudes in the odd
You
couple.
Yes, Emily. You got to upgrade your alcohol taste. I think it's time. How old are you?
34.
When I was 34, I definitely wasn't drinking wine because I was like, this is so gross and boring. So I'm
Wine
not
is
going to put that
gross.
on you. For sure. That's fine. That's fine. But you need to...
I don't really drink in my home. I
know.
I have a mixed drink if someone else is making something at the restaurant.
I guess you don't really drink that much, but whenever I hear about it, it's always like a sea breeze.
Yeah, I
a
drink
sex on the
once a
beach
month,
with
and
my-
I want it to be a juice.
With my salmon. All right. You know what? That's fine. At 34, I was still drinking garbage, so I'm not going to...
How long do I have until I have to switch to wine?
I'm so much older than you.
I don't think so.
I'm 42.
That's 8. That's not bad. 8 years. That's good for you were my boss. What if we were the same age?
Yeah, I
You would have
guess I
had the
was.
same authority.
That's always weird to me when like an influencer has an assistant who's like also trying to be an influencer and you're both like 22.
That's
I'm like,
something
is this person?
I thought was very smart about the Laugh Factory that I feel like more businesses should enact. They're like, you want to work here during the day? You don't want to be a comedian, right? I'm like, no. They're like, great, you can work here during the day. I just think it's such a conflict of interest when people are trying to also get famous. Like, just do your day job.
I don't know. I don't think it precludes you from doing 3 minutes of mediocre stand-up at night. So
No, but you don't want someone using that role. Like, I work at an entertainment studio now where definitely there are people that are like still trying to.
Andy Cohen,
Make a
who
movie.
created Real Housewives, was an executive who was
He
like,
did a
no one can
very
do it
good
like
book.
me.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
yeah.
just saying. I'm just saying. All right.
Okay, we have another confession. We're still on confession corner. These are my confessions. I work from home full time with my 2-year-old. Either my mom or my husband are with him, but it's a 2-bedroom duplex, so I'm very much involved in the chaos of the day. I used to do a workout class every night to blow off steam, but the gym raised the prices and it was no longer in the budget. My confession, I tell my mom or husband that I'm still going so that I can have that hour to sit in my car and do nothing. I really don't have to lie because they both be so supportive of me taking the time, but I feel less guilty leaving if they think I am going to work out.
They're going to notice when you gain weight that you weren't going to your workout. In my mind,
You're
you're eating
lying.
like Arby's and listening to this podcast.
No, I just think that's so funny because they would be supportive. Like, you could find another workout. Like, there are so many solutions. I kind of love that you just for now have settled on, I'm going to drive my car a few blocks away and sit there.
But by the way, that is such a huge part of parenting is like going to the bathroom while the other person parents or like just going in another room, like just taking some time. Good for you. And I don't care if you have to lie, abstain from the truth, however you want to frame it. And you know what? It hurts no one and they would support you anyway. And even if they didn't support you, it's even better that you take that time.
But maybe look for another class just because I think you seem to like your class.
Either way, you take your hour.
Take your hour.
Raise a glass to Taylor Swift with The Eras Pour, the new book with 60 cocktail recipes inspired by every era, including riffs of greatest hits, twists on her favorite drinks, call outs to iconic moments in Swiftie history, and of course, an abundance of Easter eggs. Whether you're looking for a refreshing sipper like Fever Dream, a blackberry and bitters twist on a Pim's cup in the middle of a cruel summer, or a cozy cardigan-worthy cinnamon and smoke-laced Peter losing Wendy to drink under a streetlight in a forever winter, the Eras Pour is for you. Filled with fearless flavors of Taylor's early days to the reputation-shaking mixes of her later albums, plus alcohol-free options so everyone at the party has fun. The Eras Pour has got you covered with stunning photography of the cocktails and a design that reflects Taylor's ever-evolving style from her country roots to pop anthem queen. It's the perfect companion for your next listening party. London boys, Miss Americanas, and new romantics alike, grab your shaker tins. It's time to make the whole place shimmer. The Eras Pour is available wherever books are sold.
Evil coworker sabotaging my new promotion. Please help. Hello, Elias and Emily. You two are my rock throughout my week. Thank you so much for being such wonderful big sisters to us all. Cue We Are Big Sister sound effect.
We are Big Sister.
I am in desperate need of advice, but first a little bit of background. I, 30, work for a vendor that lives inside multiple hotels, helping to execute corporate events. When I first started, I was at a location we'll call Hotel A, where I had this woman, Kate, in her 30s, who I worked with, that made my life hell. She was a position above me, so she was tasked to train me and give me tasks to do, but she wasn't the one I reported to. Nonetheless, she was incredibly condescending when I would ask questions about how to do the job. She would question me about my time card without our boss's knowledge. She even had access to it. And when she had things for me to do, she would email me to ask me to do them, even though we worked 3 feet away from each other. Overall, a very passive-aggressive person, and we did not work well together. After 6 months of the job, I got promoted and moved hotels, which was a godsend, and I've been at this separate hotel for 2.5 years. Kate has since gotten promoted to another position in the company, making her position available, and I was asked to take over her old position, which means going back to Hotel A as a senior manager. She won't be there anymore, so I gladly accepted. The problem: our boss's boss approached me, telling me he's been hearing about Kate telling the team I'm taking over and the hotel employees I would be partnering with about how terrible of an employee I am and how I won't be able to handle as much of a workload as she has. She is known to be controlling and catty to many in our company, but she still has a lot of people in the company in this hotel that love her. This really worries me that her words are creating preconceived notions that I'm going to make everyone's work life worse before I even start. How should I go about changing their minds when I do start? I know I can do the job really well. I'm going to work hard to change the work dynamic from the toxic environment I know she has festered for many years, but I want to be sure I got a fair shot at making that happen. How do I show that I am not what she is painting me out to be? Extra info if you want to hear extra tea. Every year or two, she has threatened to quit if she doesn't get a raise or promotion, so she has been given many fake promotions with new titles just to keep her happy. The only reason people allow it is because she is close to the VP of the entire company.
My first thought is, what if you are actually a bad employee? But it doesn't sound like you are.
No, because they're asking her to go back and take on this role. She didn't apply for it.
Well,
So
you have two options. You could either not, and you can say, it's so hard because I don't have a corporate job. All you can do to show them is to show them.
yes.
Because that's all hearsay, and people are going to be informed. By the way, you don't, whoever you heard it from, it could have been someone. She said one thing to someone. What you don't want to do is go in loaded thinking everyone hates you. All you do is show up early, shine, be the best. Never say a bad thing about Kate.
Yes.
'Cause
Never.
She will start to look crazy. And
Come in
part of-
delightful and they'll love you.
the mafia part of me wants to like CC everyone on email and be like, hey guys, I know that Kate has gone out of her way to, and then cite this because so-and-so said this, but I'm really excited to be like, there is always that trump card of like putting her on blast, which you will never do. All you can
No.
do is prove. I mean, I definitely, in Hollywood, you always hear about people and then you meet them. They're like, they were lovely. And then it all of a sudden makes the other person look so small.
Yes. Yes.
Do not let her distract you from doing your absolute best. And you can say, to whoever you're talking to, there's a lot of bosses, but you can be like, yeah, the dynamic here when I was here was really frustrating and toxic, and I want to make sure that my team is taken care of and that we're all doing our best. And you just say that. A lot of people, you can always lie. A lot of people would often talk about, and by the way, nobody cares. Your boss doesn't care. They just want this done. A lot of people would often talk about the toxicity and the blank and how frustrating it was. You can think of other corporate things and how they felt not belittled, but that they were sort of ridden hard for little things, and people weren't given the ability and the autonomy to execute their job to the fullest. And I want to make sure that all of my team feel empowered to do their job the best. So I'm so excited about this.
And I think you can talk to your team in coded language. Basically, like I actually worked at this hotel before. The team was a little different, but I'm so excited to come back now because I love this hotel and I know that we're all going to build something great.
I have so many ideas for how to make sure we're serving our customers and also my team is thriving. I'm so looking forward to this.
I dealt with something similar. I had a very high up person at my company go to the owner of my company and complain about me. And what I did was a little mafia in that I've just befriended about 10 other high up people. So I'm like, good luck. I've amassed an army, dummy. No one likes you.
I also start to lose respect. I think about people in Hollywood that are awful, that consistently get badmouthed, and people will, apropos of nothing I said or did other than I work in the same space as this person, will pull me to the side to be like, this person's so awful. And then I'm like, this is actually your problem. Yeah. Because you worked with this person. You continue to support this person. You do this person's podcast. You do this, and then you badmouth them. It's on you.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to say anything about Kate, you can just be like, well, like you had the chance to fire her, so I don't know why you're telling me. Like, I don't want anything to do with this.
Yeah, forget Kate.
I can think of at least 2 women in this industry where people will go out of their way to say awful things, and I'm just like, then you probably shouldn't have produced with them. You probably shouldn't have worked with them. That's really shitty that you're dumping this on me when you're the one working with them. Like, don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. You're fine. Our question asker sounds genuinely like very well adjusted, so I'm not worried for them.
Yeah, I'm just saying, all you can do is your best. Do not let them rattle you.
Yeah.
As someone who gets rattled easily, I'm telling you.
Do you get rattled easily?
The littlest thing will stick with me, and I'll just be like, "What?" I'll get very angry. It's called having an ego. I don't know. It's called being human.
Hi, Iliza. Emily. Hot Scotty, please feed him, and all babies skin and furred. I'm in need of some elder sister wisdom by both of you, so much so that what you say may indeed turn my entire life around and hopefully set the stage for the rest of my life.
Hopefully.
I hope not. I'm going to be honest. 32 female. I'm at a loss for what to do with my life. I moved away from Phoenix, Arizona this year, a place I've lived my entire life, all the way to Illinois in a tiny town a few hours from Chicago, so I can still see you when the tour rides this way. / I saw you for the first time in Phoenix. Very exciting to find out you're a real person.
It's me.
But all the way down from Chicago following a breakup of 13 years. So that's why she moved. Okay. I had met the guy when I was 21 and he was 16 years older. Not my smartest move, but it seemed hopeful at the time, and for a while it was. I also had to rehome a few of my animals, but thankfully I was able to keep 4. 2 cats, 1 dog, 1 bearded dragon, all rescues.
Okay.
Now I live with the man who had originally offered me an escape, an online friend of several years I played video games with, and we are tentatively starting to see each other. No. Being 5 years my junior, I was hesitant to do anything, but this guy is really mature for his age.
You got to get your own thing in life.
And I'm not just saying that. He owns a house, paid off his car, stable job.
That's not mature. That's normal.
Yes.
That's
kind,
normal.
generous, easygoing.
Is she still 21?
She is now 32.
Yeah, that wouldn't make sense if he was 5 years younger. He's got his own house.
He's 27.
I mean,
he has the most plush lips. I absolutely hate him for. JK. The complete opposite of X. I'm not sure if he will end up being my one, but I'm happy to see where this may lead. Now on to my question. I don't know what to do with my life and feel like a failure. Due to my not-so-great past, I ended up rather stunted in several departments and only was able to start my first official job in 2019, and with my family's help, was able to purchase my first car right before my big move. I don't have a career path and frankly hate the idea of working for some heartless corporation that calls us family and wastes more plastic, water, and resources faster than it would take to tell a random person on the street that the planet is dying. I love to be my own boss, but I have no idea where to start. No. I've dabbled in a few avenues, but can't figure out the one thing is going to be. Art, video game streamer, writer, etc. I don't feel like I have anything to offer people. Nothing of value or niche enough to make it out there. But I have life desires. I have things I want to achieve. I'm afraid if I can't figure this out and end up with a generic job, I'll be stuck in this rut. So, Iliza, I have a lot of thoughts on this, Iliza. So, Iliza, how did you know you wanted to do comedy? What were some other interests?
That doesn't matter.
Interests or jobs you had pursued? How did you push yourself to keep going even after failures? Did you have a support network? Much appreciated for your time, valued opinions. You can call me by my new Illinois name. I doubt anyone I know listens to you. Bunch of goobers. But not for lack of trying. I'll continue to advertise you. Best wishes, Farrell. Farrell, no. No, Farrell, no. I'm sorry. You're a member of society. You have to get a boring job, get some money so you can get a home so you're not living with the man from the internet that you might date that might not be the one. You need to build autonomy. Then you can do a fun hobby.
Farrell, what you don't have is self-respect. But the good news is you're not a dilly-dallyer. You're not like flitting around like, I don't know, like wasting time and money. You actually have a fresh slate in front of you.
Yeah.
And it's okay that you've done nothing thus far and that your biggest purchase was a car that someone helped you with like well into adulthood. Sometimes it's not about, some people work to live, some people live to work. Both are okay. You need to sit down and think about like what gets you out of bed in the morning. If you could do anything, because you mentioned that you do have things that you want to do. If those things are, you need money for them, like I've always wanted to surf in Hawaii or whatever, then do something where you can save that money. You need to have some goals in this life.
Yes.
You already have been, you were stunted because you went out with a man much older than you, and I'm sure that did a number on you. And now you're just drifting, and they say if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. My goal would be moving out of this man's house. He sounds adorable and lovely, and maybe this is the guy for you, but you need some self-respect. You need some life skills. And sometimes it could be that you glom onto something else. A brewery, a restaurant, a farm, and you just get really into it. You've set up these parameters. I don't want to work for a corporation. Newsflash, they're all soulless. They're all heartless. And if you're not working for one, you're buying from one. But okay, you also don't want to work for someone else. Okay, well then what do you want? I'm a big like, I know what I don't want. I know what I do want. For most things other than the career that I have. So it doesn't matter how I got started in comedy. I always knew I was going to do this and I figured it out. You're missing a fire inside of you. You need to get in touch with what makes you great, what makes you excited. You need to sit down with a piece of paper. So you're going to have to take out a loan to buy one. You got to sit down. Where do you, when you close your eyes, see yourself 5 years from now in your 30s? Is it with kids? Is it without kids? Is it traveling? Is it in another country? And then you need to think, well, how do I do that? And you're going to have to just get a job. You're not special. You don't get to put up all of these barriers without any education or training or anything. So you've got to put one foot in front of the other. Take a job in the meantime while you figure it out. Do not follow a guy.
No. Also, you're asking about Iliza's road to comedy. Iliza wanted to do comedy, is doing comedy. It sounds like you don't have that one thing. You're saying, should I be a video game streamer, a writer, an artist? Those are all very different skills. Are you very good at all those things? Are you very passionate? It sounds like you just don't want to work and you think one of these other things will make you money. They will not.
Unless you're incredible at video gaming.
And you would have to work 10 times as hard at video gaming. And then guess what? Video gaming won't be fun anymore if it's your job. Like, sorry to tell you.
You'll have to be better than all the other people who have been doing it for a living this whole time.
Right.
But maybe that's a world you like. Maybe you can go for graphic design or video game design or something. Maybe you could work at a video game company.
You can be a quality assurance tester. Yeah, I mean, you need to make some money and build some financial independence because again, I do not like that you were living with this guy from the internet who maybe you're seeing, maybe it's not permanent. I don't like that for you.
Write us back when you have an idea. Talk to your parents. Are you cool with them? Like, what do you see for me? Like, maybe you need some ideas. Maybe you need to get out more and see things that other people are doing.
Yeah.
You have your whole life in front of you. I think you also are suffering from a lack of true self-worth. And so I think saving up a little bit of money and getting your own place and like realizing that like you did that with the money that you earned is incredibly gratifying.
Yeah.
I think about that all the time. Like all the beautiful things that I have, and it's because I go to work. There is no family money present, which would be great. Would love that.
I would too.
You need some self-worth.
Oh, I think it's time for Cobb.
I think so too. I feel like a Cobb.
Taste the top with a Cobb. You're doing it right every day. You just take a bite, top of the Cobb.
Do you have a Cobb?
Yeah, I do. I've got a bottom of the Cobb.
Okay, well, we're starting with bottom. Do you want to go or you want a listener to go?
I'll go. It's tank tops. It's tank tops.
You're wearing one.
I
It's your
have this
bottom?
James Purse tank top that I bought. It is cut so narrow. The straps come in so far. It's not a racer front, like that weird look, that it is impossible to wear a bra without seeing not only the straps, but part of the cup, which I think is so tacky. You want to show your straps, fine, but seeing the cup is just gross. And it is such an indictment on women who have to wear bras, because it's the idea that it's like, you buy this, you shouldn't have to wear a bra because you should have fake tits or perfect, perky A-cup breasts at any age.
Yeah.
To not cut tank tops and to cut your tank tops and not be mindful of where women's bras normally go
Yeah.
is such an affront, and it's such a microaggression, and so many clothes that are made for women, because I try on a lot of clothes for a lot of events, and then you're like, how do I wear this? And then you go to the site or you Google the outfit and it's a 6 foot tall model not wearing any underwear, or they just don't show half the outfit. I tried on this, I'm not going to say the designer, this designer dress, and I was like, well, what do you wear? And it was just her naked under it, like
Ugh.
vagina and nipples showing. And you're just like, okay. I'm so tired of designers cutting things for men and being like, why can't you fit in this? Or anorexic women. It's just so offensive. Like, I like my body. I have nice boobs. I have a nice whatever. And I feel like absolute garbage because there's always a bra showing. So James Purse, just know that I don't know if your cutting machine got away from you, but the proportions, the sizing on your tank tops is bananas offensive bonkers.
Yeah.
This is not James Purse. But even this, I'm sorry, I'm wearing a normal bra. It keeps showing that. I'm like, how fucking low cut is everything supposed to be? And so is it the idea that all women are supposed to be wearing like demi-cup bralettes at all times?
I know.
I'm just so over it.
When I buy like professional shirts for work, I feel like the buttons start low, and I'm like, can I have a higher button? I need to do a business.
The buttons start low, and it's like, if you're buying a large shirt, why would you ever put a button right where your like nipples are? So it always looks like it's being pulled. There's so many bad clothes being made, like just endless shitty clothes at H&M and at Zara, just like mountains and mountains of bad clothes. And then the other side is designer stuff that is cut for anorexic women with no tits who are not allowed to wear bras. And I'm just, and honestly, even Skims, like I bought into it. I was like, okay, look, it doesn't matter if you like Kim Kardashian or you don't, like it's here to stay. And I think it's a nice price point. She makes like some like soft stuff. So I saw these bodysuits and I was like, great. And I ordered one. You cannot wear a bra with it. Your bra has to be so low on your back. Otherwise it shows in the back. And I'm just like, what the fuck are we doing?
Right. Right.
It's just so, it just breaks your heart to get dressed and your bra is sticking out because it looks like you don't know any better. And it just drives me fucking crazy. And no, I don't think it's okay to just show your bra unless it's black and it's like under it. Like nobody wants to see like a beige bra. I'm just so upset by it. And this is why I wear t-shirts.
Yeah, same.
Doesn't matter how in shape you are. If you're not stick thin with nipples for boobs, nobody wants you in their clothes.
No. All right, fan bottom.
Okay.
Tried to treat myself to a pedicure. It was just not the best. Scalding hot water, scraped too roughly, so I have raw skin around my cuticles and heels.
The worst.
It does suck if you're trying to do a nice thing.
Like a
And they're just
relaxing
like,
thing.
ugh.
And they're just like, next. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I had that.
Yeah. My bottom is people with glasses have a hard time in this Zoom age of ring lights. Look at me. Look at that.
Look at me.
Look at this.
Look
I
at
got
me.
a light reflected in my eyes. Something about knowing that we have ring lights to me is like unprofessional, which I know is insane. But if I can see it reflected, I'm like, well, I know you've created a lighting setup for yourself and I shouldn't know what's happening behind the scenes. So I hate when it shows in my glasses the reflection.
Yeah, knowing someone's trying. Like when
But
I
if
see
I
you,
take this off, look at my beady little eyes. You're
when I
not
see
used
you,
to it.
Actually, I had a joke about, well, you're getting my makeup done yesterday. And I was like, BBL, beady eyes. I'm vacationing in the beady eyes.
Top.
My top is the smell of a bonfire. I can't say that I sit around a lot of bonfires, but last night at the beach gig in Huntington Beach, people had made like little fires and they were,
Yeah.
I don't know, cooking. And it's just such a great summer, but also fall smell. And I just like having it on my clothes. But not for too long, then it gets kind of gross.
Yeah. Fan top, finding a key to something, in this case, a roof box for my car, you were sure was lost forever. It's a pretty good one.
There you go. Yeah.
My top is, do you know anyone in your life who annoys you and then they have a baby and the baby's really ugly?
Everybody.
I know someone so annoying from literally like high school, college. And she posted the other day and I was like, oh, her kids are so ugly looking.
People are proud of their ugly babies. They're like, look, it's Hubert. And you're like, oh, but what do you do? Baby's got a unibrow. You can't pluck it. It's just gonna have to have it. Yeah, it's
no,
rough.
imagine how mad people would be if you shaved your baby.
Could do it. There are moms that do it. Okay.
Okay.
Shave that baby.